Hello, welcome to another of my hip hop mashup videos, combining two different albums together. Where today we're going to be looking at 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying and The Game's The Documentary. So, given 50 Games history, I thought it'd be interesting to try and put their most popular albums together and their debut albums for Aftermath together. They both have quite a lot of similarities in the fact that they're both from a similar time. Both debuts for Aftermath, both heavily involved production from Dr. Dre, and both really strong albums. So I thought it'd be interesting to see how much from each of them I could get into an album, which for this project is called Get Rich or Documentary. I suppose you could have the Die Trying, D part D, but so that seems to be the best way of getting together. Just forgive that we did have some fireworks playing just in the background earlier. So if you do hear anything like that, they're clearly just celebrating the fact I'm putting out another video. So there we are. There's our playlist. I also try and make sure that these playlists end up linked in the videos when I'm finished. I do for all the videos in this series, and make sure to go over and do that. But yeah, so we're going to start with the 50 Cent songs and mesh the game songs in. It just seems to make more sense that way round. The documentary is kind of the stronger of the two, I feel, so it's kind of better. I feel better kind of ending with the documentary, starting with Get Rich, and as we'll see, it kind of like it flows a bit better that way. Like with the intros for them, both have very short intros. 50s being just the short coin sound lends itself quite well to then flowing into Game's longer spoken word intro. Just flow together like that quite well, which then can lead into the first proper song, What Up Gangster. Really strong introductory track, very hard hitting from 50. Then West Side Story from The Game, similarly great introductory track, with a bit more of a menacing feel to it than What Up Gangsters, so it kind of helps bring us down a little bit after that really strong intro, and also I have kind of followed the Get Rich structure. I say, even though I feel Documentary is a slightly better album than Get Rich, Get Rich probably has the better overall structure of songs. Maybe because there's less on the regular edition to arrange, and it's just so you won't be getting any of the bonus tracks from Get Rich, because it's there's nothing that would match from the one bonus track from the documentary that has been out there, and it's just not fair to that. But anyway, so next up we have the Eminem collaboration Patiently Waiting from 50 Cent. So meshed that up with The Game's We Ain't featuring Eminem. So two Eminem collaborations quite early on, quite pacey tracks as well. Not the last time we're going to be hearing from M anyway, so you might as well have those collaborations early on. Um, then we get 50s Many Men with games Dreams following that. Both quite personal songs, so feeling that's feel together. 50 obviously discussing his shooting. Game briefly touching on his own shooting as well, but more so about talking about his journey to becoming a signed rapper. And then we get the bigger songs of the album, 50s In the Club and Games How We Do, both strong club bangers, produced by Dr. Dre. 50 featuring on How We Do as well. So with 50's involvement in the documentary, he does appear a bit more frequently than Game does with that crossover, but still, at least on How We Do, they do have really strong chemistry together, so it works quite well there. And it's kind of like the midpoint of the album. So we get some of the bigger songs in the middle of the album. We then get High All the Time for 50 and Start From Scratch from Game. Both songs that I kind of just had to try and keep on the album. Particularly Start From Scratch, a really personal and emotional performance from Game, so I couldn't leave it off. Marsha Ambrosio's chorus is really strong as well. So it's, one of the best songs from the documentary, which has lots of great songs already. High All the Time is quite smooth, so it has a bit of a similar feel to Start From Scratch. 50 talks about drugs and drinking. Game recorded Start From Scratch when he was drunk, so does that link as well. But just basically, it didn't really mesh up with anything else, and they're both songs that I'd kind of wanted to keep. So there's that. We get a couple more big Dr. Dre tracks now with 50's If I Can't and The Game's Higher. Again, two songs I really, really wanted to keep. They're two of the best sounding songs on their respective albums, so I had to try and keep them on. Next, 50's 21 Questions featuring Nate Dogg, and The Game's Hate or Love It, featuring 50 Cent, of course. Their follow-up singles, respectively. And again, a bit of a smoother sound from both of them after quite big pumping songs, club songs. I mean, it really would have made a bit more sense to match up Game's Special featuring Nate Dogg, who's also a woman's song with 21 Questions, but then there wasn't any space for Hate or Love It, which kind of really needed to make the album as well. So there's that. And also just with 21 Questions being quite late on Get Rich, I thought it'd be interesting to see what it's like to have Hate or Love It quite close to the end as well. So we get two quite big songs towards the end of the album. 50's Don't Push Me featuring Lloyd Banks and Eminem, and The Game's Running featuring Dio and Tony Yayo. So both songs with G-Unit collaborations on there, Eminem appearing again, and both quite pacey tracks as well, so kind of work well together. Then we get our final tracks, 50's Got Make It to Heaven and Games Like Father Like Son featuring Busta Rhymes. Both great ways to finish their respective albums. But this is why again, I'm quite happy to finish with the documentary tracks, just because Like Father, Like Son is a bit more epic feeling than God Make It to Heaven, as stronger closer as God Makes It to Heaven is. I feel it still works having Like Father, Like Son follow it. So yeah, that's 20 tracks altogether, 18 songs. See the first two tracks being intros. So obviously, a lot of crossover between the two. Very similarly crafted albums, very similar production, of course, with Dr. Dre being heavily involved in both albums. There's several tracks that I wasn't from both albums that I wasn't able to keep. Again, with the constraints, perhaps not having those intros at the beginning could have helped me sneak a couple more shorter songs on there. Get Rich has more shorter tracks than Documentary does, so it might have been easier to get more a Get Rich track on than a documentary track. But then it's trying to marry them together and trying to pair off different tracks. There just didn't seem to be any other combinations that I could have. I really wanted to get Put You On Game on there. That was initially going to go with If I Can't, but then there was no place for Higher, and I really wanted to keep Higher on there. Some of Game's other collaborations with Faith Evans, Mary J. Blige, wasn't able to keep. His Just Blaze production, again, wasn't able to get on there. Game 50s Bloodhounds with Young Buck, or his track with Tony Ayo, Poor Little Rich, wasn't really able to find a place there either. So yeah, both albums have several songs that could have made it on, which just is a testament to how strong both those albums are. Again, I personally feel that the documentary is the stronger, only just of the two. You can say that 50s songwriting skills helped Game's album along. There's certainly that to be said, but as a rapper, still obviously Game was able to, certainly had a lot of those skills, bars before meeting 50. So even though 50 helped perfect the songs, still feel Game is able to bring a lot more lyrically, a fair bit more lyrically than 50 was on Get Rich. 50 is a bit more charismatic on Get Rich, but still Game has a lot more substance overall on his album. But yeah, they certainly mesh well together. I feel you can certainly get enough of both, enough strong tracks from both artists, and enough substance from both that you're not leaving anything out, you're not leaving enough out of either of them particularly. So yeah, it would have been quite a strong album if this was an overall album, I feel. I was looking for a few more artists to pair off together and see what other projects we can make. So until then, we'll see you around. Take care.